Donald Trump is facing new criticism today about his treatment of women after a New York Times investigation detailing decades of alleged sexism and inappropriate behavior from more than 50 women who've worked for, socialized with, and even dated the likely Republican nominee. Let's bring in Barry Bennett, senior advisor to the Trump campaign. And Barry, with a welcome to you and welcome back to the broadcast here. I want to get your response to this New York Times story. Trump is calling it a hit piece, but can he really argue that the more than 50 women interviewed just made it up?
Well, I mean, you act like the 50 women all have the same story, which is not true. But it is kind of a hit piece. I mean, I've been waiting for the Bill Clinton story. I've not seen that yet. I guess we've been waiting almost 20 years. But, you know, whatever. The New York Times, you know, they'll do what they need to do, and it's not going to affect the campaign.
How about this? In terms of affecting the campaign, 7 in 10 women already hold an unfavorable opinion of Trump, and stories like this can't help. So how does he plan to win in November without the support of such a large group of voters? Do you worry about that?
You know, of course I worry about that, but I also, if you look at the other side, Hillary Clinton has the same approval problem amongst men. You know, this race is very gender divided, but actually her men problem is slightly bigger than his women problem.
All right, let's talk about what happened on Thursday here. Obviously, he met with House Speaker Paul Ryan. Your candidate did. Both men have said it was a productive meeting, but there's not yet an endorsement from Paul Ryan. Yeah. First of all, to you, how important is his support?
Well, it's something that you want. It's not, you know, he'll do it on his own process. It's not a light switch. It is a process. Paul's a very deliberative, thinking guy, and, you know, I'm sure he'll get there.
But does Donald Trump really need to unify the GOP establishment behind him, or is he perhaps better off using it as a foil? I mean, that's what he's pretty much done up to this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's impossible. If you're talking about unanimity, that's impossible. And there are chunks, slivers, maybe, of the establishment that are never going to support Mr. Trump, and that's fine because he doesn't believe that Washington has done a very good job protecting the American taxpayer, helping them, you know, make sure they have raises and they're safe in their homes and their schools teach their kids, and they think they've done a pretty good job. And you know, he thinks they're wrong, and I think the American people are going to side with Mr. Trump on that one.
What about the other big headline today that party leaders, and that would include folks like Mitt Romney, they are actively looking to recruit an independent candidate to run against Trump? Are you at all concerned about a late in the race challenger?
You know, no. I mean, at this point, you can't call Mitt Romney and those guys party leaders because they don't seem to care much about the party. They care very much about their own egos at this point. But, you know, it's a daunting task to run an independent campaign. It's very late. The deadlines have already passed, for instance, in Texas. You can't get on the ballot as an independent now. You know, it's beginning to look a lot like sore loser and not principled positions.
Your candidate is calling himself the presumptive nominee, but he's still 102 delegates short of the 1237 that he needs to lock this all down. What is the game plan if he does not get there by July?
Oh, he'll be at 1,500.
He'll be at 1,500 by July, by the time you walk into Cleveland's convention hall.
Yep.
Well over the 1237. How do you figure that?
Well, we've got big states coming, plus we have a lot of unbound delegates that are coming to us, but we've got New Jersey's 51, California's 176, plus the proportional states of New Mexico, Oregon, Washington. You know, it's going to be very easy.
What about the finances of all of this, Barry? Because Donald Trump needs an estimated $1 billion to pull off this campaign, but he has only just started to fundraise, and Hillary Clinton, as you know, has already been doing this for a year. Can he catch up?
Well, you know, I don't think she's got $1 billion in the bank, so I think we're pretty close to even right now. We're going to ramp up a fundraising operation around the country, and you know, I don't think we're going to lose because of lack of resources. I think we're going to win, and we're going to win big.
What do you think the biggest challenge is facing Donald Trump right now?
You know, I mean, you know, he's a first-time candidate, so you know he learns every day, and people want to judge him by past campaigns. They want to fight last year's battle this year, which is not the case. It's going to be a different campaign, different kind of campaign, with a different electoral group of people to get us to the majority.
But most of the electoral models, as you know, Barry, they show him losing by a lot. So what keeps you up at night when you think about that?
Well, it doesn't, because if you look at states like Pennsylvania, where there's now 160,000 new Republicans compared to 4 years ago, I think we're going to win Pennsylvania. You look at Florida, where there are over 100,000 new Republicans registered in Florida through the primary process. Ohio, where you have 120,000 new Republicans. Everything has shifted. If you look at 4 years ago's map and try to compare it to today, it's just not the same place.
All right, Barry Bennett, thank you very much. We'll see you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Federal investigators are in Texas